of my entire family and would ask them to stand at this time. Carmen asked me to also send his regrets because he had a commitment in Indianapolis. And though I appreciate Jordan's gracious introduction, we all know that it is really not about who I am, but about whose I am. 120 years ago, the citizens of this great city, 120 days ago, the citizens of this great city, that would be a long time, honored us with their ballots and elected me as the 19th mayor of the city of Gary, Indiana. This afternoon, I am humbled now, just as I was then. But I also understand that the vote on that day was not really about me or my vision, but about our common desire to see Gary at its best. We all know that the best is possible because the character and fortitude of the citizens, both individual and corporate, are the same. The same vision and character that led to the founding of the largest corporation in the world on the southern banks of Lake Michigan. The same type of vision that led to the establishment of a world-class school system. The same vision that resulted in the creation of a premier park system still exists in the fabric of this community. The people may be different, but the commitment, the dedication, the willingness to sacrifice is the same. Just as these characteristics brought us good results in 1906, they can bring us good results in 2012. While it is only the beginning, we have already seen the good results through the cooperation with law enforcement officials from the Gary Police Department, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the United States Attorney's Office that has led to the arrest of several suspects in connection with a series of robberies in local businesses here in Gary and throughout the Northwest Indiana region. Those individuals have been taken off the streets. We have seen the good results when an entire region came together to prepare the historic Tolleson School for demolition and reconstruction for a state-of-the-art Boys and Girls Club. We have seen the good results as individuals have come to me saying, I would like to contribute my time, my equipment, and my talent to the demolition of the Sheraton Hotel. And we have seen the good results as individual citizens and groups have made decisions to adopt our local parks. We have seen the good results as top officials from the Department of Justice, the Department of Health and Human Services, the United States Equal Protection Agency, the U.S. Department of Labor, the U.S. Federal Aviation Commission, the Department of General Services, the Army Corps of Engineers, the Small Business Administration, and the Federal Transportation Administration have come to us and said, the White House wants us to find out what we can do to help Gary. And we have seen good results as members of the national, regional, and local media have chosen to shine a positive light on our city. Yes, the same resolve that allowed our forefathers to build this city in 1906 is the same resolve that will guide our steps in 2012. Very often, you go to a hotel, perhaps it's a mall, a museum, amusement park, or some other large facility. And there is often a map posted at strategic locations in those facilities that allow us to find our way around. Typically on those maps, there is a red mark or a dot with 3 words: "You are here." To say that the navigation of the city's challenges requires that type of map is probably an understatement. So today, I'm going to provide information and insight that tells you where we are as a municipal entity and community, the accomplishments that we have made to date, and where I would suggest that we go. First, where are we? We span 50 square miles and are located in the population center of North America, at the bottom of one of the largest Great Lakes. We have 4 interstates and 3 Class 1 rail lines that touch our city. We are the 6th largest city in the state of Indiana, with a census population reported to be 80,300, but an actual population closer to 85,000. Between 2010 and the year 2000, it is estimated that we lost over 20% of our total population. Our median household income is $27,000, 20,000 below the state median income, and our unemployment rate is 15.6%, and our rate of poverty is 34%. Our city budget is $47 million, and nearly 80% of that budget is devoted to police and fire, with 75% of those costs being salaries. That is where we are. 5 years ago, our community was dealt a difficult blow. In 2002, there was a reduction in taxes paid by industry in Lake County to the tune of $109 million. During that same period, there was an increase of taxes paid by residential taxpayers in Lake County of $95 million. Recognizing the tremendous burden of that shift, tax caps of 1% for residential taxpayers, 2% for rental properties, and 3% for businesses were instituted, first by a state statute and then by the state constitution. These tax caps forced Gary to reduce its budget from $73 million in 2006 to the current budget of $47 million. And while I'm sure we would all agree that some of the cuts led to better government practices, anyone with a working knowledge of business or government knows that there is not that much fat in the land. In fact, in 2011, the State Board of Accounts noted that the city of Gary cannot cut its way out of its budget deficit. It is important for the citizens of this community to recognize that we currently have a projected deficit of $10 to $15 million. In fact, we are $43 million in debt. Now the good news, and I'm sure that some of you are waiting for that other shoe to drop. The good that this does not represent the beginning and end of where we are. Because of our location, less than 35 miles from the third largest city in the United States, because of our location at the population center of North America, and because of the railways and highways and airport and waterways that constitute our city's assets, the city's promise and potential far outweigh our greatest challenges. So the next question is, what progress have we made to date? Earlier, I talked about recent successes in robbery arrests. Under Chief Wade Ingram's leadership, we can also add to that fact that our murder rate has been reduced by 50% to date. Tomorrow, our tip line that will provide graduated rewards based on the seriousness of the crime reported will go live. If you phone in a tip, you will receive a number. And when that information results in an arrest, you will take that number to the bank and collect your reward. During the campaign, we vowed to create a streamlined function for those who sought to expand and or build businesses with the assistance of the city. We are pleased to report that under Tom Collins and Forrest Hayes' leadership, the process is in place, and through the use of the process created in the Economic Development Trust Corp and the Department of Commerce, we have almost completed a transaction that will net the city $1 million in cash and 20 acres of land. We are also on our way to completing another venture that will result in almost $5 million in annual revenue to the city of Gary. Those are wins. During the campaign, I talked about the need for a forensic audit. Under Comptroller Salita Green's leadership, that work is now underway. We will not stop there. The city of Gary will be the first Lake County community of more than 30,000 to join the Ethics Advisory Commission. And just in case the training does not work, our team now understands if we become aware that something is not right, we call the feds. We do not wait for them to call us. During the campaign, we promised each Gary citizen 15 minutes with the mayor. Since January 1st, we have met with over 75 citizens and are moving through the waiting list every week. In January, we created a new department of constituent services because we wanted to be more responsive to your needs. Under Mary Cossey's leadership, that department has maintained a 97% response rate to citizens within 24 hours and worked with the park department to reinstate a sewing class at the Brunswick Community Center. And I think some of those members may be here with us today. Are any of those ladies here? Stand up. Under Doris Carvin's leadership, the Human Relations Commission has received $44,000 in HUD funding in partnership with the Northwest Indiana Continuum of Care and the Mayor's Organization on Disabilities. That is a win. Under Nicole Allen's leadership, the law department has successfully worked to minimize the impact of judgments and resolve long-standing debts and judgments pending against the city. Those are wins. Through the special efforts of our park director, Karen Jones, our commerce director, Forrest Hayes, our planning director, Dwayne Williams, and our zoning director, Joe Van Dyke, we have worked to get the restoration of Marquette Park on schedule, and with the cooperation of all parties and contractors, the Marquette Pavilion and Aquatorium will be available to the public by May 5th of this year. Under the leadership of Clotilde LeBroy, the Department of Public Works has started a plan to review all contracts for services that we anticipate will result in a savings of over $200,000. We are also planning the first annual event for contractors and businesses so that they will clearly understand the transparency of the way that we do business. Those are wins. Under Cozy Witherspoon's leadership, the General Services Department cleared 95% of our streets within the first 28 hours of our largest winter storm. And they have filled over 5,000 potholes since January 1. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a major. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that a number of our successes have also come as a result of the hard work started during the Clay administration. We have a code enforcement team through community development, and since January, those individuals have created substantial activity through the citations and through increased revenue that has been working in conjunction with the Department of Constituent Services, who has them on speed dial, by the way, and resulted in over $30,000 of revenue to the city of Gary. That project started under the Clay administration. On February 15, 2012, Allegiant Airlines flew their inaugural flight out of the Gary-Chicago International Airport. Those plans began under the Clay administration. We continue to make progress on the runway expansion and remediation of the Ralston Street Lagoon. These projects began under the Clay administration. I would also like to extend my best wishes to Mayor Clay for speedy rehabilitation and recovery from a recent surgery. So what is the vision for Gary? How will we build on this early success? Earlier, I told you about the meeting held on January 31st, 2012, engaging federal partners who want to help Gary. Earlier that same month, our team spoke with Indiana Senate leadership to discuss our prospects for economic development here in our city. While we are excited about the potential help from all levels of government, we did not go into either meeting with our hands out. We went with a development plan that emphasizes how we will increase our own revenue by addressing fees that are substantially below industry standards, by collecting fees that have not been collected previously. We went with a plan to build on our transportation assets and by looking at business development that will increase our assessed valuation. We went with a clear set of priorities as well. the creation of land-based gaming on the 8094 corridor as a real estate development opportunity, the continued development of the airport to create a niche in charter, private, and domestic cargo service, the development of transportation-oriented development near 65 as a real estate development opportunity, the development of the Gary Public Transportation Corporation as a lead partner with the RBA to provide transportation opportunities for Gary and all other Northwest Indiana residents. Even with these plans, we understand the need to focus on lights at the Hudson Campbell facility and other dark places throughout the city. We understand the deplorable conditions of 25th Avenue between Burr and Klein Streets and other streets that are similarly situated. We know that even one murder, robbery, burglary, or any other crime is too many. And we will not sit idly by as our children struggle educationally. We welcome the opportunity to work in partnership with the school corporations throughout the city of Gary. We have all committed to the members of the police and fire unions, 2 divisions of ASME, the SEIU, and the Teamsters, our intention to come to the bargaining table with a spirit of cooperation. We are here to assure that we are here to assure you that we are paying attention, and while Rome wasn't built in a day, we are working to build our version of Rome every day. Throughout this discussion, I have used the word we. Who are we? We are Kyle Allen and the members of the Gary Common Council who appropriate the dollars that are used to operate city government. We are City Judge Deidre Monroe and City Clerk Suzette Rags, who work to ensure our safety, enforce the codes, and collect fines with rigor. We are the members of the New Day Task Force who have met and received input from members of the public between July and December of last year, and who provided a basis for the early work of our administration. We are the Caring About Gary team, without whose sacrifice and hard work, none of us would be here today. We are the members of our transition team who worked in earnest during November and December and even January to ensure an informed entry into city government. We are the members of the boards and commissions that set the policy from which we operate. We are also the members of the Financial Roundtable, experts from around the country who have come to Gary multiple times to volunteer their time to help our team under the leadership of Salita Green and Curtis Whitaker work through our financial challenges. And we are the members of the executive branch of government, led by Delbert Cole and B.R. Lane. Together, we make up Team Gary. Many of us have come home from places around the country in the largest reversal of brain drain in the history of a new Gary administration. And some of us have even given free labor because they understand the magnitude of the problems and the great potential that exists here. Now, I've heard the questions. How can you raise salaries if you have a deficit? Why are these individuals making so much money? Why are you ignoring people who have been here all the time? Well, here's my answer. The overwhelming majority of our senior leadership team was educated in the Gary schools. The vast majority of them have also taken pay cuts that approach 25 to 30%. Each and every one of them brings skills, relationships, and a level of expertise to the table that we desperately need. And every day, many members of our team labor on behalf of the citizens of Gary from 7:30 in the morning until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. The problems that I described earlier require people who are willing to work around the traditional constraints of government that tells us that we only work on certain days and during certain hours, that we can only use certain strategies and solutions, and that suggests that government is less competent. This team leads a phenomenal group of city employees who were working hard when many of us got here, and who work with renewed pride, energy, and commitment. Thank you to each and every employee of the City of Gary. And together, we are laboring to eradicate furlough days. We are insisting that your business be handled ethically and with transparency. We are laboring to erase the budget deficit, and we are laboring to create the environment to ensure that the early wins that we have seen are sustainable and become the rule and are not simply exceptions. Many of you know that I played basketball at Gary Roosevelt and even at Harvard. And sometimes when we play pickup games in the community, whether it's over at the Hudson Campbell or at the Campbell Friendship House, when we used to play there, at the beginning of the session, you often get to choose your teams. And those of you who have ever had the task of choosing a team know that you choose your team based on your knowledge of their skills, abilities, talent, their tenacity, and heart. Now, I have to tell you, because of my skills, I was sometimes the last person chosen. But most importantly, when you choose a team, you choose it because if you keep winning and pick up basketball, you get to stay up all day. In Gary, we have a team that can stay up all day. And I would submit that the citizens of Gary deserve a team that can stay up all day. I need to remind you that the Bulls did not win one championship until Michael Jordan got some help. I know that I don't have any silver bullets, and I know that I am by no means Michael Jordan. But I have been given a unique opportunity by God to organize a team and assemble resources to the benefit of this community. I consider this a gift and ask daily for God's guidance and discernment. I assure each and every one of you that I will work every day to make this opportunity into the reality that makes Gary the next comeback story of the Rust Belt. Thank you. God bless Gary, and God bless you all.